Larry Winget here. Thanks for joining us on Patreon for this little episode of learning. An episode of learning. Isn't that a cool way to put it? I hope you do learn something from this episode. I've been ranting on the Ultimate Business Summit page this morning, and this one sort of ties into the last thing that I posted here. But I speak in absolutes. I use the words always and never a lot. And I know we're cautioned. And when you hear me say most of the time, or usually, or typically, I'm hedging my bets. More speakers should learn to hedge their bets. I don't care whether they're in politics or whether they're teaching like I'm doing here or whatever. By using words like that, because typically there's going to be an out somewhere, and there's always going to be an exception to the rule. And by the way, I believe there's an exception to the rule, wasn't much of a rule. But there are some things I absolutely will say unequivocally, always and never. And this is one of those, you can take this one to the bank. People always, ultimately do exactly what they want to do. That's it. I want you to think about that. If you are ridiculous enough, that word should provoke you just a little bit, ridiculous enough to believe that you can externally influence the actions and results of anyone else, over a long period of time, long term, influence the actions and results of someone else, you are mistaken. You can threaten to fire someone and they'll change their behavior for a short period of time. You can threaten to promise to pay them more money or promote them if they'll do it this way, and you can change their actions and results for a short period of time. This works with your kids, it works with employees, it works with anybody in your life. People do what they do because that's what they want to do. If you have a poor performer who works for you, it's not that they can't, it's that they won't. They don't want to. That's why we spend so much money training people on how to do the job, yet they've been doing the job maybe for years. We said maybe we need a re-education here. Well, maybe you do, but this much of the time that would be the case. People do what they want to do. You know, you could threaten me with anything in the world. If I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. Not forever. And so, you hear a little noise in the background. There's trash trucks running in my neighborhood right now, so that's kind of what you're hearing. I apologize for that. But I want you to think about that. You don't do anything you don't want to do long term. We all do exactly what we want to do. Now, if you're hiring people, it means that you should be hiring. We always say, hire for aptitude, not attitude. Then you got all the motivation people saying, hire for attitude, not aptitude. Hire people who want to do a good job. People who want to do a good job will do a good job. People who aren't doing a good job didn't want to anyway. You can't do much about it. When it comes to kids, you got to teach your kids the core values of wanting to do well. When they want to do well, not much is going to stand in their way. Yeah, they'll have challenges. We all have challenges. You need to teach them that challenges are normal and to be expected and how to deal with them and how to deal with failure. And that's how we're cheating our kids right now, by not teaching them how to deal with challenges and failure and so forth. We're setting them up for success, but we never set anybody up for failure, which is a whole other deal that I'll rant on later. But you got to teach them to want to do well, because the reward for doing well is knowing that you did well. It's all the reward you should be looking for. So that's my little short lesson for you today, is to remember that Winget said, people always do what they ultimately want to do. That's the way it is. Hey, thanks for listening. I appreciate you signing up here on Patreon and listening to us. We got lots of great lessons, both from me and from Chris. And then who doesn't want to sit and listen to us rant and rave and go back and forth and argue and have a good time with Chris and Larry smoking cigars and drinking whiskey and coffee and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Until next time.